What if Anakin received a red Kyber crystal from Ilum? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. The frigid winds of Ilum howl through the jagged ice caverns as Anakin Skywalker presses forward. He takes a deep breath and tries to channel the Force to pull him towards the Kyber crystals. Around him, the faint sparks of these crystals glisten just beyond the ice wall. He tries to sense these crystals' vibrations and power, feeling for the one that will become his. It is a difficult task, but one necessary to forge his lightsaber. For Anakin, it is even more important, as he knows the Council distrusts him. Getting a crystal here can be his way of vindicating himself, showing he deserves to be in the Order. He can almost hear Master Windu's disapproval in his mind. Shaking off the thought, he presses on, determined to succeed. The deeper he ventures, the colder it becomes. Anakin follows the pull of the Force, not letting the cold bother him as he breaks away from the main path and lets it guide him to a small chamber in the corner. As he looks around, nothing catches his attention, but he feels something pulling at him. It takes him to one corner where he digs into a snow pile. To his surprise, Anakin doesn't just find a crystal, but a lightsaber. Its hilt is now worn and broken, but the crystal is blood red. It glows faintly, the aura pulling Anakin closer. He hesitates, sensing the crystal's dark origins. It feels different from the others, its presence sharp and magnetic. He should leave it. Every instinct screams for him to walk away, yet the crystal calls to him, whispering in a voice only he can hear. His hand trembles as he reaches for it. A shock of energy courses through him, sending images of fire and shadow flashing in his mind. He sees the ancient Sith Lord who used this lightsaber, how he entered these mines, and how he never came out. The pull is undeniable now, and though doubt churns in his mind, he tucks it into his pouch and begins his journey back to the surface. When he returns to the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, the red blade ignites during his training session, drawing immediate attention. The lesson is cancelled, and his newly constructed lightsaber is confiscated. The council chambers buzz with whispered speculation as the masters convene, their gazes heavy with concern as they examine the weapon.
This is unusual. A red crystal, especially from Ilum, is unheard of. Its very nature is attuned to the dark side. I do not like it.
It is not the crystal that defines the wielder. Anakin found it through the Force. We cannot fault him for following its will. Yet, are we sure it is the will of the Force, and not the will of the dark side that reached out to Anakin? It may be a sign of deeper darkness within him. A red blade is a symbol of the Sith. I vouch for Anakin. Though he is a bit rough around the edges, he is progressing with his studies well. He is a Jedi. Whatever doubts you have are your own to manage, not his to carry.
The council immediately agrees to let the matter rest, but their unease lingers, casting a long shadow over Anakin's path as a Padawan. Years pass, and Anakin grows stronger, but the doubts never leave him. While the memory of this event soon leaves the council, it remains with Anakin as a reminder of what the council thinks he is, and what he wishes to never become. Though Obi-Wan tries to reassure him, even his words can't fully ease the resentment building within Anakin. As the Clone Wars breaks out, Anakin becomes one of the Jedi caught in the front lines. There, he acquits himself well, using clever tactics and his natural intuition to score several victories. However, all of these are placed under a microscope by the Jedi. They observe him, quick to dole out criticism but stingy with praise. That is especially true on Yavin 4, where Anakin pursues a renegade Sith acolyte, Asajj Ventress. He pursues her through the jungle and corners her in a set of ancient Sith ruins. As he ignites his lightsaber, she can't help but smile at the crimson blade as she readies her own.
Oh, twinsies.
She rushes forward, her blades lightning in the fading sky. Anakin ducks under the sweeping attacks and parries the follow-up, trying to push her back. He unleashes a series of powerful slashes aiming at her head, but the slippery assassin ducks underneath each of these attacks. Ventress leaps into the jungle with Anakin in pursuit, but the assassin uses the terrain to her advantage, leaping from tree to tree and unleashing surprise attacks on him. She also uses the vines and bushes to smack up against Anakin. All of this only fuels his rage as he hacks through the foliage to pursue her. Ventress continues to run, but Anakin is close behind and grazes her arm as she circles back to the temple. She readies herself and gets in a defensive position as Anakin unleashes a furious set of attacks. His strength begins to grow, but he struggles to keep himself calm. Ventress tries to block these attacks but finds herself being pushed back as Anakin continues to advance on her.
Such passion, such anger. The Jedi will never accept you. Not with that blade. You belong with me, Anakin. Join me, and together we'll show them what true power looks like.
Her words ignite a fury within him. With a roar, he channels his anger, rushing at her. His attacks fall faster and faster, now pushing Ventress on the defensive. Her weapons begin to falter as she struggles to hold him back as they reach the top of the temple.
I will never join the likes of you and Dooku.
Desperately, she tries to sweep her lightsabers low. Anakin leaps above these attacks and kicks her across the face. She barely blocks his follow-up attack and pushes them up. For a moment, their lightsabers lock, and she can see his eyes, burning with anger and sensing the full extent of his power within him. Then, with a final push, he shoves her off the temple, where she disappears into the waters below. Anakin stares at the scene for a long moment, but then deactivates his lightsaber and lets out a thunderous roar, his chest heaving. He stares at the hilt of his lightsaber, the heat of his rage still coursing through him. But as he returns to the Jedi Temple, he is greeted with disapproval from the Jedi Council. While they acknowledge his victory over Ventress is impressive, they criticize him for his carelessness and how he allowed his anger to get the better of him. Although Obi-Wan wishes to use this event as Anakin's trial of skill, the Council deems Anakin to have failed due to being unable to control his anger. As a result, Anakin is denied the rank of Master. The rejection stings worse than any word. Anakin feels the weight of their judgment, their endless suspicion pressing down on him until it becomes unbearable. They assure him he will have an opportunity to try again.
Don't bother. There won't be a next time. I'm through.
He takes off his cloak and throws it to the ground, just as Obi-Wan races after him.
Anakin, don't be so hasty. It was only your first time. You will have other opportunities.
They'll never see me as one of them. No matter what I do, I'll always be the outsider. The Sith Blade. The chosen one they never wanted.
Please, Anakin. I've seen you grow. I've seen what you've overcome. You have the potential to be the greatest of all of us.
Anakin's expression softens, but he shakes his head.
I've never blamed you for this. You've always had faith in me. It's the Jedi Council that will never change. Feels like my work has been for nothing because of them.
Obi-Wan tries to reason with him, pleading for patience, but Anakin's mind is made up. He offers one final goodbye to Obi-Wan before he turns and walks off, leading the Jedi Order behind. As he leaves the capital and the Jedi, Anakin is left without any connections and resources. But what he does have is skill and training. While he may never be a Jedi, Anakin is still determined to become a hero and help the galaxy, perhaps even in ways the Jedi never could. He travels to the Outer Rim, going places where the war has devastated the galaxy. Here he finds work, using his piloting, combat, and mechanical skills to help the people who have been affected there. Anakin proves to be skillful in his role. He manages to help countless planets in this way. Unbound by the Jedi's restrictive rules and their ties to the Senate, Anakin can go places the Jedi can't. He challenges warlords and corrupt officials controlled by the Senate or allied with the Republic and helps people free themselves. He protects planets from the CIS. Through these efforts, Anakin can make a living, surviving as a bounty hunter. Anakin strides through the bustling streets of Nar Shaddaa, his red-bladed lightsaber hanging conspicuously from his belt as he makes his way to the bar. He just finished another bounty operation, helping a village get supplies by stealing them from a pirate den. The air reeks of oil, sweat, and desperation. But here, he makes his own rules and is free to carve out his identity. Not a Jedi, not a Sith, but something in between, and doing the jobs neither one is prepared to do, hunting slavers, warlords, and criminals. He approaches the bar and orders a drink when a figure sits beside him.
Double what he wants. On me.
Is that your way of an apology? I'm not drunk enough to look at you. I thought I left you in pieces back on Yavin 4.
Oh, I'm flattered you remember me. But as you can see, I'm very much alive. And I'm not here to fight. But I won't apologize either.
Then why are you here? Revenge? Did you have them spit in my drink?
I did, but that's not why I'm here. As it is, I am in a similar position as you. It seems like the Separatists and Sith weren't what they were cracked up to be. So I'm independent now. The difference is I have my family, and they are interested in meeting you.
And why is that?
Because they want Dooku dead, and I suspect you wouldn't mind taking him down either.
Sorry, I don't work with witches.
Still as suspicious as ever, Skywalker. I'm not here to recruit you, Anakin. Not like before. This is strictly business. There's a bounty on Dooku's head, a hefty one. You'll walk away richer than you'd ever dreamed.
Why should I trust you?
You don't have to, but you and I both know Dooku deserves to die.
Anakin raises an eyebrow as a group of hooded figures step forward from the shadows. Night Sisters. Their presence sends a shiver down his spine.
I can see the family resemblance.
Mother Talzin gave me a few gifts for this mission. With her stealth potions, we can infiltrate Dooku's fortress unnoticed. What do you say?
Anakin hesitates. He hates Dooku, but working with Ventress, with the Night Sisters, it feels like crossing a line he can't uncross. And yet the thought of bringing Dooku down is too tempting to ignore.
Fine. But this is a one-time thing. Once Dooku's dead, we're done.
Ventress, Anakin, and their strike team infiltrate Sereno, the potion leaving only a faint mist as they enter the fortress. They slip through the facility, avoiding patrols and making their way to Dooku's bedchambers. Anakin ignites his red lightsaber, the crimson glow illuminating the room. Ventress steps forward, her twin blades flaring to life. As the others surround him, they lunge forward, 4 lightsabers slashing at Dooku at once. But suddenly, the Count's eyes shoot open, and he unleashes a wave of Force energy. Dooku looks around, but sees only the shadows.
Do you think this attack will go unpunished?
He unleashes a wave of lightning that throws them all back, except for Anakin, who blocks the attack. He rushes forward and meets Dooku's attack with a set of swift strikes. Their movements are fast, and though his stealth gives him some advantage, Dooku is not deterred and continues to defend, relying on his mastery of the Force to guide him. With only a few flashes of light to guide him, Dooku blocks each attack and then locks Anakin's lightsaber in place. Just then, Ventress and her Night Sisters join in, surrounding him and attacking from all sides. Dooku kicks Anakin aside and rushes to deal with these other intruders. Of the 3, only Ventress has the skills comparable to Anakin. He parries one strike that nearly takes his eye, and then pushes it aside to slam his foot into her, just as the other 2 attack. Dooku ducks and weaves under each attack, focusing more on defense to let the pair overextend themselves before suddenly rushing between them. While this should put him at a disadvantage, Dooku's lightsaber seems to move everywhere, blocking off each potential attack. He then suddenly channels twin strikes of lightning that lift the pair off the ground. The attack would kill them if Anakin didn't barrel into Dooku and send him sprawling. Ventress follows and swings her lightsabers at him. Dooku rolls aside from these attacks and leaps back to his feet. He parries each strike and moves with increasing aggression as he regains his bearings. Ventress crosses her lightsabers, pushes them aside, and then riposts with another strike. She tries to stab at his side, but Dooku twists aside and grabs Ventress by the throat, tossing her aside. Anakin tries to close in on him and slides underneath his lightsaber strikes, swinging at his thigh. As this happens, the other Night Sisters get up and rush at him, their weapons further taking Dooku's attention away from them. Seeing how well Dooku holds his win against them, Anakin feels his anger growing. His strikes become more aggressive and push the Count back, though none of them land.
Come on, you fool. Use that anger. Fuel yourself with it.
The hiss comes from his side as Ventress springs forward in a spinning slash. The blow manages to off-balance Dooku, allowing Anakin to join forward. He can feel the rage coursing through him, filling him up and allowing him to strike at Dooku. This time, his lightsaber strikes him across the stomach and drops him to his knees. The Count's eyes widen as he looks over at him, and then drives his lightsaber through his chest. The Sith Lord collapses, lifeless. Anakin stands over the body, his breath ragged, the adrenaline still coursing through him. The Night Sisters approach, their eerie presence filling the room, grabbing his shoulder and guiding him outside. Back on Dathomir, the Night Sisters are festive from their recent success. They laugh and clap Anakin on the back, cheering him on. Even the Night Sisters who accompanied him clap him on the back and thank him for saving them. They praise him for his skills. Ventress manages a smile and raises her glass in recognition of his success. For the first time, Anakin feels truly welcome. He basks in the adulations of the clan and thanks them for their hospitality. Mother Talzin emerges from the shadows, holding up a case full of credits.
You have done well, Anakin Skywalker. But your journey is far from over. Your training with the Jedi was incomplete. You are powerful, but unrefined. Stay with us, and I will teach you to master the Force in ways the Jedi never could.
I'm not interested. I told Ventress that I don't work with witches.
You wish to forge your destiny. This I see. And yet you leave yourself bound by old loyalty and blind yourself to the possibilities before you. You wish to bring order and peace to the galaxy. Should you not leave all avenues open for that goal? Look what you have achieved here with just a fraction of my power. With proper training, you can become something greater.
Anakin pauses, carefully considering her words. He has to admit they are tempting. The thought of that power in his possession has crossed his mind, but as he considers all he can do with it, he begins to smile and nod his head. In the dark heart of Dathomir, Anakin trains under the watchful eyes of Mother Talzin and her Night Sisters. The air hums with the power of dark magic. Talzin channels them to Anakin's side, letting it flow around him. The ancient ichor feels so alien to Anakin, yet strangely familiar, calling to him. As it touches him, he feels it giving him power. But Talzin doesn't just have Anakin absorb it, she has him channel it. Her voice is cold as she directs his movements, showing him how to use it in combat, harnessing it in attacks and crafting spells. She extends her hand to create a whirlwind of green energy. Anakin raises his hands, focusing the Force to counter her attack. The wind howls around him, but he pushes back with sheer determination, his connection to the Force growing stronger with each lesson.
The Jedi have taught you strength, but they also have made you weak. They fear emotions, anger, passion, even love. But those are the keys to true power.
What you're teaching me, it's not the Jedi way. It feels wrong.
Wrong. And yet you stay, because deep down, you know the Jedi never trusted you. They never saw your true potential. Is that not their fear? Their doubt? Yet they hold you to the standards they cannot keep. You felt it, haven't you? The shadow looming over the galaxy. The shadow has a name. Palpatine.
Palpatine? The Chancellor?
Yes. Before he rose to power, he was my ally. But he betrayed me. He came to Dathomir seeking knowledge, stealing secrets from the Night Sisters to fuel his ambition. He betrayed us, as he will betray everyone who serves him. He is the true villain behind this war.
Why do you tell me this?
To show you what the Jedi and the Republic truly are. They preach righteousness and justice while allowing evil beyond imagining to thrive within their walls. But with this bloody war, there is opportunity. With the Republic focusing on crushing the Separatists in the Outer Rim, now is the time to strike. The capital is vulnerable, and they will not expect you to come.
Anakin nods, resolve hardening in his eyes. His success in killing Dooku threw the CIS into chaos. Though figures like Grievous tried to rally their forces, they were being steadily pushed back by the Republic. Seeing this, the military has committed to a full offensive. However, Grievous has begun a scorched earth policy, hoping to whittle down the Republic forces while the critical worlds are fortified. This has pulled them into a grinding war of attrition, but it also means that much of the Republic forces are being sucked into the Outer Rim. For all his doubts about Talzin, her hatred of Palpatine aligns with his growing suspicions. Their training continues, and Anakin throws himself into understanding these spells to supplement his powers. It's like unlocking a new level of the Force he never knew existed, and Anakin eagerly learns and absorbs it all until the perfect opportunity arises. Palpatine dispatches much of the Coruscant defense fleet to deal with the siege of Megiddo, leaving them unguarded. On Coruscant, the skies are eerily quiet. Anakin and a group of Night Sisters infiltrate the Senate district, their stealth bolstered by Talzin's magics. They move like shadows, slipping past patrols and sentries until they reach the Chancellor's private chambers. As the doors open, the Night Sisters rush on ahead. 4 of them advance and leap at him, knives in hand as the Chancellor lies in bed. But suddenly, he springs forth and unleashes a burst of lightning that throws them aside. 2 more join in, but his lightsaber ignites and he cuts them down.
Ah, my uninvited guests. Did you think I did not sense your presence, even with your feeble magic? But I sense another one with you. Someone familiar. Is that you, young Skywalker?
Enough talk, Sidious. I've come here for your head.
I'm so glad you said that.
He taps his communicator as the Night Sisters throw themselves at him, but suddenly the door opens behind them at the entrance of his house.
Master Jedi, please! There are intruders in my room!
Cursing, Anakin rushes out to confront the interloper, hoping to end him quickly to rejoin his Night Sisters. However, he stops short when he sees who he's dealing with.
Obi-Wan.
Anakin? What are you doing?
From the other room, Palpatine continues to wail, feigning helplessness.
Your Padawan has gone mad! He's trying to kill me!
Suddenly, Obi-Wan rushes forward, his lightsaber flashing and forcing Anakin to defend. He holds the strike in the air and then pushes it back. But before he can counter, Obi-Wan moves again. The betrayal and shock clear on his face.
Obi-Wan, listen to me. He's a Sith Lord. He's behind everything. The war, the Separatists, all of it.
Anakin, how could you do this?
When their lightsabers clash again, Anakin feels the strength of Obi-Wan as he is thrown back. His former master advances on him. Chanting under his breath, Anakin tries to summon his magic, the light beginning to flicker as he unleashes a burst of magic towards Obi-Wan. But the Jedi Master takes a deep breath and unleashes a Force shockwave that dissipates it. Anakin summons a barrier around himself, just as Obi-Wan continues to attack, his blows striking against the bubble.
Anakin, I want to believe you, but this is... How can I trust you?
The cracks begin to form just as Anakin suddenly deactivates his lightsaber.
You've always trusted me, Obi-Wan. You've always believed in me, even when no one else did. If not now, then at least trust that I took your training to heart.
The final blow to shatter his bubble never comes. Instead, Obi-Wan deactivates his lightsaber and nods. Anakin lets his shield dissipate and offers a smile. The two rush back to the room just as Palpatine finishes off the last of the Night Sisters. The sight of the Chancellor cutting them down with a lightsaber is enough for Obi-Wan. His eyes widen as Palpatine turns to him, his face glaring, and then he smiles.
So, you've learned my secret.
He lifts the Night Sisters and hurls them towards the pair. They move in opposite directions and rush to face him. Obi-Wan rushes at him, letting the betrayal flow through his body as their lightsabers clash. The Jedi Master's strikes rain down hard, pushing Palpatine back with each move. But the Sith Lord smiles and then sweeps his lightsaber forward, sending Obi-Wan flying back.
Now, I thought anger was beneath the Jedi.
His smile only infuriates Obi-Wan, who rushes forward, but Palpatine is expecting that and unleashes a burst of lightning. However, Anakin hurls a desk between them, which shatters into splinters. He tries to summon more of the Night Sister mist, trying to restrain Palpatine, but the Sith Lord flicks his wrist and sends it flying. The surge of darkness momentarily blinds Obi-Wan, allowing Palpatine to swing at him. He barely defends the attack as Anakin channels lightning towards him. He meets the magic lightning with force lightning, leaving an explosion that leaves the room smoking. From that cover, Anakin leaps out, raining blows on him. Palpatine meets these attacks and laughs. His slippery form just barely manages to sidestep these strikes. But while he crosses his lightsabers with Anakin, he tries to summon again, trying to summon another spell. However, the Chancellor continues to disrupt each attack, keeping Anakin on his toes. But Obi-Wan comes in from the side, forcing Palpatine to turn and block his attack. This allows Anakin to score a punch and sends him reeling. Obi-Wan follows and strikes low, dropping him to one knee, while Anakin finally begins to cast a spell, the ichor wrapping around his arms and legs, holding the Chancellor in place. His eyes widen as Anakin drives his lightsaber into his heart. The death of a Chancellor takes the Republic off guard, but Talzin is sure to provide evidence of her correspondence, and a tip-off from Anakin allows Obi-Wan to infiltrate Cyrano and discover more evidence that fully condemns the Chancellor. With how close a Sith Lord came to power, the Jedi are horrified and begin to take a closer look at the Republic. It is as if a veil has lifted, and they begin to realize the corruption more thoroughly. However, Anakin isn't there to finish the job. He still does not trust the Republic or the Senate. Instead, he returns to his life of bounty hunting, taking out any potential supporters of Palpatine and the remnants of the CIS. However, he does offer his thanks to Obi-Wan for believing in him. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.